Oh, and another one that he did, that he produced and wrote but didn't direct, was called The Church. And this is the one, you've probably seen the GIFs online. This like really ravishingly pretty Italian actress lying on this marble altar in a church basement, surrounded by all these candles, and there's all these like half-naked people standing around her, like clearly doing some demonic ritual. There is a full-on like goat lizard demon thing straight up having sex with her on the altar. He's just thwomping away.
It's like, oh my god.
And it's this notorious, like, you know, sequence, and it's just, it's jaw-dropping in its audacity. And the whole movie's kind of like that. I mean, it's not just straight-up demon thwomping, but it's...
there's, yeah, quite a bit of some twisted stuff in there.
Yeah, when we were at the local video store and I saw a copy of it, you remember, I was like, oh my god, we gotta rent this!
So we rented it.
Yeah, we gotta get this! I gotta have this! And it's awesome. There's a scene...
It's the one horror movie we wouldn't let your little sister watch.
Yeah, no, this one was a little much.
No, you don't want to watch this.
No, I let my little sister watch Fright Night.
Some of the horror movies.
Against my better judgment.
When we were kids, you know, we were not thinking.
Well, I was a teenager, and my young sister, I say little, she was like, 8 or whatever. She said, I want to watch Fright Night, vampire movie. And I remember saying, you're going to get nightmares and I'll get in trouble. She's like, no, I won't. So we watched it. She had nightmares that very night. Oh, he made me watch the vampire. I got in, so much trouble. So I did kind of bring that one on myself.
But this movie came out when we were...
We were older teenagers.
Probably like 18 or something.
Yeah, like late high school age.
So she was like probably in junior high or something at that point?
Yeah, but I still, there would have been no reason to track her down and say, here, watch this obscure Italian horror movie.
No, it had like a demon thumping something.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't have shown her that anyway, but yeah, it has there's this awesome gag towards the end of the movie where there's this old couple in the church.
Oh yeah, she just hates him at one point.
Yeah, they're just sort of bickering and all, and she's like, oh, I have an idea, Harold. Let's go up to the bell tower. And he's like, oh, you got bats in the belfry, you dingbat.
It's all like dubbed into English, so it's even more hilarious.
And they're like, and there's no indication that anything is amiss with this couple. They're just sort of like, oh, Harold, let's tour the church.
But then she goes
later in the movie, you start hearing the bell ringing. You hear this pong, pong. And, the character's like, I wonder who's up there ringing the bell. And then we cut to the bell tower, and she's got her husband's severed head, and she's beating the bell with it, just pong, and she's going, wee, pong.
She's completely crazy.
Just having the time of her life beating this bell with her severed husband's
laughing.
head.
We were laughing at that part. That's when she came downstairs, and she's like, what are you laughing at? It's one of those parts.
And it's awesome just because it seemingly comes out of nowhere, but again, it's that weird sort of...
That part was okay to watch. And something else.
Yeah. But, and there's a scene where a guy commits suicide with a jackhammer. You have to see to believe. So it's one of those things where, and this is maybe more of like the Italian approach to horror at the time, was that it was much more surreal and just sort of over the top, dream logic. But whereas American horror
Bad
movies,
Taste here in this room.
Yes,
in this room.
A movie that put Peter Jackson on the map. But I think the difference between like a lot of other culture's take on horror and the American one is, and it's something that really bugs me about modern horror movies.
Hands of Fate was at your house.
Yeah. Lost
anyway,
my train of thought completely there.
I was saying about modern horror movies.
Modern horror movies. Thing that kind of bugs me about modern horror movies is that we misunderstand what horror is. I think, something, that like from Suspiria or these other movies, they sound very over the top, and to an American audience of just casual, viewers of the multiplex, they might laugh. They might say like, "Oh, that's goofy. That's weird. Why would that happen? Why would the character do that?" But if something is effective, it's effective. And a lot of these movies, the good ones, the classic ones, they work because they horrify you, which is what horror genre is supposed to do. They get under your skin. They may seem absurd, but they're also viscerally and emotionally effective. The American approach I think, is the wrong one, and at least in the modern approach, because we confuse what is horror, what horror actually is. We seem to think that it's simply the concept of something supernatural happening. So you'll have a movie where like a ghost shows up, and then you'll have the second half of the movie will be the exposition character show up to explain the rules of the ghost and why it's doing what it's doing and what its backstory is, so that it makes perfect sense. Now it's not scary. Now it's just another character in the movie. It might as well just be Joe down the street at the bake shop, as much as it, a ghost, for all the horror that it's generating. So they compensate for this with jump scares. We were talking about this earlier. Jump scares.
We spent a whole episode on that.
Oh yeah, jump scares are not horror. Horror is something disturbing you and freaking you out and giving you the creepy crawlies. You get that little shiver of ice up your spine. That's horror. That's what a good horror movie is supposed to give you. When a movie just kind of makes you go, oh God, Jesus, that's not being scared. That's being startled. Look them up in the dictionary, Hollywood. They are different things. Being startled is just an adrenaline rush that you get from something loud and unexpected kind of jolting you. Horror is when an idea or a mood gets under your skin and creeps you out. That's a horror movie. So that's why I think we get the approach wrong, at least in a lot of mainstream horror movies, which is probably, honestly, why I tend to gravitate to these weirdo, obscure, art housey horror movies, because they're at least attempting to do something different.